just showed that it does.
It's raining right now. I can filter that out. 1 second.
Are you streaming? Or you have some kind of software that you use for your audio?
No, I'm on my phone.
Okay.
There we go. That should be better, right?
Seems like it's only happening when you're talking.
I don't know.
Yeah,
The rain doesn't bother
would
me too
say-
much.
Yeah, I'd say that's a better. That's a plus. Like when the rain would happen regardless, if you rated that a 5, now that only happens when you're talking, that's a 7.
All right, good. Can we move on then? Sorry for the
Yeah.
disruption.
Yeah, you're good. So, Bruce, you're gonna show up to it before Horace because you're closer. So you show up. King Kroll is sitting in his throne, just doing his normal stuff. For some reason, there's only 2 of the other ministers there. There's a minister of resources, pretty much just finances and whatever, and there's the minister of space like the spatial satellites and stuff that just keep track of what's going on.
I smell
in
a
the area.
backstabbing.
And then, so as you show up, he says to you, come here. There's things that I need to tell you specifically. And then he kicks out the 2 ministers. So, from there he comes in and says, the 2 ministers have been telling me that there's things going on in space. Is there anything you know of this?
There was something I knew, wasn't there? Sorry, I have a lot of different campaigns going on, and I don't remember a lot of the stuff that happens. What was the thing you were telling me?
So, you know that there's been a spatial warp where space is collapsing in on itself.
Mm-hmm.
About half a light year away.
About a half a light year away. There's been a spatial warp or something. Not really my forte.
Have any of your strategists told you what it could cause, or if it brings any threats to us?
Have they?
I mean, just common knowledge in the military would be that spatial warps are used when communicating long distances with more than further, trying to get faster than light communications. But with this one so big that there's a possibility that it could be actual things coming through.
Could be many things. Could be teleportation. Could be communication. Could be a threat. Could not be a threat. Who knows?
Right. And as you're saying this is exactly when Horace is going to walk into the room. So, Horace, you just pretty much heard the very last bit of that. Just could be it, that could not part.
Please excuse my presence, King Kroll. It appears that Salon will not be available for this, so he has sent me to stand in for him. I don't make any comment about the matter.
Did he tell you what he was doing that made him so envious to look at all of my sons?
I didn't catch that.
So he's just responding to Horace saying the thing about him being like, sorry, I'm not here. And he goes,
And did he tell you what made him so busy that he ignores my summons?
I like it, but I do not know what you said.
okay, I'm gonna not do
Did he
that.
tell you what made him
Too
so
drunk
busy
for
as
the
to avoid
microphone.
my summons?
Yeah. I'll just ignore
Very
it.
tough
It's
to tell
fine.
though. Cool
Yeah.
voice, but very hard to
all
hear
right.
it.
It's probably because of something else going on with it. I'll just ignore that for now.
I didn't take the note about whether or not he's. I don't think when you told.
No, he didn't say anything. He just said, go there. That he's busy.
My apologies once again, King Cologne. But Solon did not tell me why. He simply said to me,
Something seems, he goes, something seems odd. I'm having issues in space. I can't even call everyone here. For some reason, some ministers aren't even appearing. Where is Kalisak anyway? He was supposed to be here. Oh. And then,
So when do I show up?
I would say you're not there yet. You're definitely on your way now because you've put all your stuff away. You're gonna show up in just a sec, and then
I told you this.
and then he goes and he asks, and then he explains the situation to you, or so it goes. So I've been told that there's been spatial warps about half a light year away. What exactly would that endanger us at all, or is it something that the ministers are just bringing up to cause fear and break up our perfect country?
It depends, sire. How big is the spatial warp?
From what they said, it's very massive. It's larger than anything they've seen so far.
Then I would assume that there may be a couple of repercussions for it. Typically, we communicate with that thing, but no spatial warp is that big for any of our cities. So I would suspect that there might be something bigger than a simple signal coming through. Now, what that might be, I do not know, but
So
I
then,
could think of that be.
Kalisak, right as he's saying that something bigger than a signal should be coming through, is pretty much the part that you hear from him as you enter into the throne room.
Okay, one question.
Yes.
Those spatial warps, can they occur naturally?
Can they what?
Can those spatial warps occur naturally? Would I know?
They do not occur naturally, except for when it's right next to a black hole.
Okay.
Could he interject in the middle of, like, if he's got something to say to interrupt Horus? Could he do that? Like, I'll start
yeah.
from the signal.
No, I'm not gonna interrupt. I would stay silent, just kind of put my hands in front of
And
myself, waiting.
And then when he finishes, are you gonna like say anything to introduce yourself, or you to the king, or you just what are you gonna do?
Castellak would just raise his hand and wave at the king, and like do a mild bow.
And then King Kroll goes, "What took you so long to get here?"
I apologize, my liege. I was working with some volatile materials that could have gone off if I'd stopped in the middle of it.
And what are your thoughts of this spatial warp?
Well, unless we got extremely lucky to witness a natural one this big, but because we're not near the center of any galaxy at the moment, I find that highly unlikely. It's likely we're encountering some outpost of another civilization.
Outpost.
Or at least, envoy of some kind. I would be wary.
Who would even have the brains to go and develop something that we have not developed ourselves?
Oh, the universe is old. And Well, you can always get lucky. Who knows? This could be the first time they've messed with such technology.
I think that is going on right now is I would say there's a little bit of, even though I'm not going to say anything else in the role play, I can say that Horus would have a level of indignant rage to the idea of somebody having a technology that we chose not to develop.
Do you want to interject?
Technology means new loot. Foils of war and all that.
So what are your suggestions that we do about this?
Scouting party.
Agreed.
I agree as well. We should investigate.
I would posit unmanned, though.
Scouting party. I agree, that is not a bad idea. What level of our soldiers should we send here? Is
Unmanned drones.
Yes, as I said, unmanned. I don't see this being, unless we have evidence of conflict, we should have all of the information gathering done remotely.
But to come at the cost, because what if anything, there could always be a radiation or anything like that these robots are not able to handle. We should at least send
Well, then,
one person.
If
Or
it's
a-
radiation, men can't handle that either.
At least men can turn around.
Hmm.
Do you take me for a fool? My drones are advanced enough to turn around at such signs of danger.
Is that
Hell,
true? For our role play, an argument about that, I want to make sure that that's common knowledge.
I mean, it's not. I mean, his common knowledge that he makes things that are very smart. It does seem quite far away for them to be able to be controlled for sure. So it's like even if they're unmanned, they definitely would be pre-programmed. So for you, you would definitely have it wouldn't be surprising for you to have thought that they would not be able to turn around in their own.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna have to stop doing the accent because it's hurting my throat. But
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I suggest we set up some sort of relay system, some sort of communications relay system to communicate with these drones. If it's too far away to actually send signals, then maybe we can have some sort of signal booster.
That's a viable option. But then we'd also have to devote resources to creating these relays. One party could be sufficient.
Is there magic in this world?
No, there's not.
Okay.
Any actual.
Is there any sort of like mind control technology
I mean, there's
that I would know of?
There's none that could be used to like control another living being. There's definitely like direct interface to robots. That's 100%.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that if we send someone out there, they're not going to get turned against us and give us faulty reports.
I suggest, instead of developing a singular, highly advanced mechanism, we go for the tried and true method of redundancy. Send out a few cheaper ones and average out the data.
Absolutely.
So we change from either having what you believe is a sure way of your drones to now relying on them being passed through a cheap, redundant system. When again, a party could suffice.
Well, if it's too far out to communicate, we also don't want to risk any men on a potentially dangerous mission. We could send out, operators to a certain point and have them extend, their, vision through drones. Send them out with drones and have them control them from a remote location.
suppose that is a good compromise.
Very small team of, I guess, like surveillance
If you
experts.
must.
Okay, so you would.
So, I would argue, two relay teams, and then the actual measurement is done unmanned.
Sounds good.
I can agree to that.
So pretty much what you guys are setting up is a very good system. It's also cheap enough that it's not going to like cost you any of your normal resources here. So I'm not gonna we're not gonna be calculating that into any costs or anything. Though. So now you guys have pretty much decided your thing. I guess I should be. So King Kroll stands up and he goes, "I will leave you to setting the plan, and I expect it to be fully written out and ready when I come back at the end of the day." So now it's pretty much you three over the main there's like a big table that was dragged out into the throne room when you guys had came in, because whenever he calls a big meeting like this, he'll normally bring out a table, especially for situations like this when boom, you're gonna need to make a plan, or you're gonna need to make a combat thing, and people though they would put the map on it, that type of table. So now you guys are around it, and so now it's pretty much you guys talk about. So you're saying two relay teams with the unmanned, still cheaper drones, checking it out with actual scanners, and you said surveillance experts, right?
Yeah, something like the equivalent of, I don't know. Just basically techie guys. Not necessarily spies, but techie guys who can work drones really well.
Yeah. Okay. Are you gonna give those guys any sort of
Probably security,
guard? Yeah, security
detail.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
I would suggest that the closest ship of the two to the event be one of our more shielded resource collection ships.
I'm also sending two of my personal guard, since they're probably the most trustworthy people to me. If anything funky goes on, they're going to report it back to me, hopefully.
I would like to send one of the surveillance crew. As long as Bruce supplies with the guards, I am confident that we will not have to worry too much about the dangers costing.
Now, you said that this sort of anomaly is normally consistent with communication stuff, but it could also be teleportation.
So
right?
So yeah, you guys use it. You guys use the technology to bend space for your further than light or faster than light communications. You normally still need to have relay systems about a quarter of a light year away, and they just hit each other. It ends up still going faster than light. But you guys normally make them super small because it only needs to transmit a signal. I'm talking the size of a dime. It has a spatial warp. And this thing is massive. It's 4 times the size of our current sun, for example. It's the size of a red star.
If we are
Do we have surveillance satellites on the planet, or orbiting the planet?
Yes, you definitely have satellites
And
orbiting the
that's
planet.
probably how we know that this thing happened in the first place.
Yeah, that's how. Like I said, the 2 ministers that were there before were the finance one, and the pretty much the guy in charge of the satellites. The minister in charge of that type of security element.
Yeah, I want to have people that are directly under me, constantly monitoring, all the feeds from all those satellites, seeing if anything, comes into orbit on our planet or goes into our atmosphere.
I would like to assist you because I do have people who specialize in these things. That's one of the things that. Oh, I guess I should replay it. There's a Solon trusts me because usually I'm the one who helps him manage the daily dealings that help him help the king. So if you would so kindly allow me to help you make sure that the surveillance is watched to the utmost limit, I would gladly assist. Also, I think we should change it from 2 to 4 because if we need to have these, because we need to make sure that at both intervals of Court of the Lights, we can confirm the information that is given to us. If I was
All right.
the world building properly, it was that we would need a hopper, like a signal booster, every quarter of a light year away to help us communicate at faster light speed.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so then
Yeah.
4 is needed.
I mean,
I
no,
think we should
one
also-
one would be enough for you guys. It's exactly half a light year, which means you only need one
Oh.
relay booster.
Okay.
So,
Alright.
but 2 is redundancy.
Would definitely be. Well, yeah, unless you're trying to view it from 2 different angles.
I'm pretty sure I only have 10 personal guards, so I don't want to really sacrifice too many of them. But I also think that our R&D guy is Castellak, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think that we should probably have some sort of orbital like deployment system set up. Something where, we could have like rapid deployment from the upper atmosphere at any moment to any part of the planet.
I don't think that's necessary. It seems an unwarranted cost of resources. We're not in necessarily a hurry at the moment. These things, especially considering its size, will take a while to collapse back on in and on itself. I propose we don't need 4 ships. 2 ships is enough to get parallax on it.
Because I would assume that you'd already be ready for any kind of situation like this.
Yeah, I assume I would be too, but I don't know exactly how much leeway I'd have in the, outside of character. I don't know how much leeway I'd have in the previous, years to do stuff like that.
I mean, so like, yeah, there definitely wouldn't have been anything built for like war and quick deployments, either back down to the surface or like from there, because the only types of spaceships that you guys really have are either really, really small, just security ones that fly next to your ones that are like mining, that go out and like do resource gathering and stuff for you guys.
Would it be possible for me to secretly send, another ship with like a nuke or something on it
So there's
out to just sort of guard these other ships?
So there's no like real weapons of mass destruction of that type, because it's been looked down upon by pretty much everyone who like actually fights. Like you guys, like for example, like the Clovers, you guys enjoy the war because you enjoy like the combat of it. You enjoy like being able to know you killed people. Nukes are just kind of seen like very dishonorably. Like technology hasn't like. It's not that you guys don't have the time or effort to like go and build nukes if you guys wanted to. It's just that no one has chosen to go in that direction of technology.
All right.
I wouldn't want us to jump the gun just yet. True that it must have been something that came and for it to have been so big, but we do not know what. And I would not want us to spend our resources on a ready deployment that we will never use.
Exactly. 2 ships at the relay point for redundancy. You can have your men on those ships if you want to be extra sure. And then the drones go out. Get a wide scope of measurements and then report back to the ships immediately. We won't lose any data,
Okay. Well,
even if they're destroyed.
while we're on this topic at this table, I would point out though that whether or not there is a threat approaching our planet, it would be wise to have a rapid deployment system set up for, if it's not our National Guard, then perhaps it's firefighters or emergency medical assistance. A system like that could, prove very valuable in many situations.
The rails are plenty fast. The time it takes to leave atmosphere. Cities are self-contained systems, and the rural sections rarely have a disaster of a caliber that'd be warranting the resources, sending something into space and then back down again.
With this warp being half a light year away, we at least have, or we have around 6 months to prepare anything that our teams come across. Even if it is closer, they will still be able to relay a warning to us ahead of time.
I suppose.
Exactly.
Well,
So, is that the plan then? Are we good? Can I go back to my, I'm gonna want to outfit the drones, for this mission.
would you require any assistance? Again, one of Stolan's many things that he appreciates from me is that I always have help to make sure these plans that reinforce our country take care of Crow's wishes are enforced.
I got plenty of lackeys.
Then I will focus on the surveillance crew that Bruce's guards will protect.
All right.
We're good? Good. Bye-bye.
Is it okay for us to leave?
Yeah,
We
so-
all like the
y'all
time?
can go your separate ways now. So we're gonna do things. So, Bruce, what exactly do you think you would be going to do right now?
I am going to, even if it's not orbital deployment, I would like to go train up a very, very secretive special operations group meant for rapid deployment around the world, in case something hits us.
Okay. Is that going to be coming from your personal guard, or are you going to go and try to find
It's going to be coming from below my personal guard, but still
some other
like,
soldiers?
people with like lots of experience.
Okay. So pretty much, so right now what you probably like at this instant, you're going back to like your actual office area and checking your files to find what people have done special training already that would make them more qualified than others for this new position, right?
I want this to be like as secretive as the Navy SEALs were like 50 years ago or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like what is it? You're like Gray Fox today,
Yeah.
something like that. Just like barely anyone knows about it. Basically.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, but like right now you're gonna like actually be going like looking for who, if you can find like people that are extremely skilled, right? Like,
I'm going to be discussing this with the generals directly under me.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right.
Before Catholic left, he probably would have mentioned to Horace that he should probably write up the report to send to the king about our decision.
And then when you go, you said you're outfitting the drones. Are you gonna like actually do that? Or are you gonna go and just like tell someone to go do it? And
Yeah.
so you're gonna tell someone, and then are you?
Well, I would want to personally oversee it because this is an interesting anomaly, and I want to get good data on it.
Okay. So. So, that's gonna be funny. Is there anything that you think you're gonna want to add to these, other than like normal visual, thermal, and what's the other one? gamma.
I mean, there's some
gamma
background
sensors.
radiation.
Gamma sensors. So like other than those,
well, there's
is there any other types that you think
a
you would
whole-
be trying to add to it?
Well, there's a whole array of stuff. I mean, some gravitation stuff that senses the gravitational pull of this general thing, anomaly, because it is bigger than any wave that I've done before.
Okay. So can you do an inventor check? I guess is what I'll do. Roll.
So
You're going to be assisting this other guy in whether or not he
okay.
properly fits this on right now, like the first try.
Wait, it's exclamation mark, not slash.
Yeah. Alright. He better get it. He better get this. Okay. Barely gets it because it's going to be 4 because of how much extra things we want to do while making it very smart. And also, if it got less, like it wouldn't have failed. But so your main tech is you're able to get pretty much every sensor that you could possibly think of that you want on this thing. The only thing that you did have to do, though, in order to properly fit it and make it capable of exiting or getting up there, getting close to it, and still being able to send a signal, is you had to pretty much take off all of its main armor setup. So it has like no armor on it. It's purely like open wires to all of the sensors.
Yeah.
And the communications.
It doesn't have to return. It just needs to send the data back, and these are relatively cheap.
Yeah, exactly. So then now we're just gonna kick over to Horace. What exactly are you doing other than, I guess, writing this thing up?
I would want to know which one of the lesser species is a good surveillance species.
So, I guess your semi-techie people is going to be your dwarves or your halflings.
Dwarves or who?
No, it's just dwarves. They look like halflings. That's why I keep saying it, though. It's just they've been called dwarves for so long as like a mock to their race that they've actually accepted it as the name of their race.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but they.
So, I'll definitely be focusing on grabbing the most perceptive dwarves I have inside my repertoire. Is that the right word? Anyways, inside my
Mhm.
pocket, I would focus on the most perceptive dwarves I could give, who would be able to still catalog all the surveillance information that comes from the drones. And I mean the most perceptive. I want them to be extremely the most perceptive people you can roll.
All right, makes sense. And so you finish writing up the report. You leave it on the table. You leave it there, or like, what exactly do you think you'd be doing with it?
What would normally be the custom for giving King Crow meeting notes? Horace would most likely follow the custom.
So there's two things. You'd either leave it there in the room because the room is like locked down, no one's coming in and out without the king's permission, or you would go out and hand it directly to the guard on the outside of the door, who would also be waiting for King Kroll to come back and would give him any news that people wanted to tell King Kroll.
Is there any other way to get inside the room? Or at least, I mean, if I have to roll a perception check to observe something like that, or would I know that? Or I guess the best question is, from Horace's knowledge, is there any other way to get inside the room?
So there's definitely a secret exit directly under the throne room, under the throne specifically. That you've known, and because you were there forever ago, you were there when it was being built and stuff, and you know that there in the left armchair it's lifted if you actually like try to like lift up the thing, there'll be a slight give, and the throne chair will actually slide backwards, and will show a trapdoor underneath it.
Okay. Then yeah, I'd leave it on the Horace. I'd leave it on the table. I'd leave it on the table for the king to pick up once he comes back into the.
Okay. And then you're saying that you're gonna head to find those perceptive dwarves, like tell them what to do. So
Is that I go into my study to communicate with them, or if I have to go out in person?
I mean,
Sure.
you have a comm link. You could definitely use that to access some of them for sure.
I definitely go back to my study.
Okay. And then so Rusk, you have called a meeting with your generals.
Yep.
And how exactly do you bring this up to them?
Well, like I said, it's only like the people directly under me, so it's not like a whole like council of generals or whatever.
Yeah, but I'm saying like how would you bring this up to them, like this thing that you want to do, like how would you word it to them to get them?
It seems that a possible threat has presented itself to our planet. There's been our sensors have picked up a warp in space-time about a half a light year away, the size of a star. I believe, personally, that it may be a sign of an invading army.
So
And if I'm wrong, then good for our planet. If I'm right, then we need to prepare.
Alright. So I'm gonna say it's like there's like your two specific generals. You're gonna have your general of the highest order of the intelligence there, and you would do. There are other Black Ops groups for sure, but they're not like that type of. They're like from old school Black Ops groups that were used when the Clovers had been fighting all the other nations to try to take over the planet. So they're not trained in any sort of
I would
space
like
combat
like a
or
mix
anything.
of, I would like a mix of like brain and muscle. You know, I would like both the intelligence operative side of things and the just the meat
Yeah.
of just kicking down doors kind of stuff.
Yeah. So so the general of the intelligence group says, a threat in space does seem difficult, and I think that it is best that if they do come, we should fight them in space and do not let them even get close to touching this planet of ours. And then the other one is just like, finally, we haven't been at war in 30 years, and I miss the smell of blood. What exactly do you want done?
Small
here?
covert strike teams could take out enemy ships with relative ease and with relatively minimal loss of life, while the rest of our army defends our planet and our immediate surroundings. Weaken the enemy before they get here, so it'll be an easier fight.
So we're saying that we should increase the basic training to at least incorporate some spatial combat. And are you saying you want to create a new team, or take one of my current special op teams and train them for these new missions?
I need experienced soldiers, selected from every part of our special operations command. I need experienced soldiers who are specialized in fighting in space and in tight corridors such as ships.
Alright, so the intelligence guy says, I have 4 soldiers perfect for that. Though they might be a little unruly.
4's start.
And then the other one says, well, any of our special op groups, we could take them and train them. They will learn space combat very quickly. Otherwise, they are very competent. Currently, I have 6 strike teams that have not been sent on any missions and could easily be pulled from. How many of them would you like to take for this new mission?
3.
3 full strike teams?
Yes.
And then the intelligent ones. So are we creating 3 strike teams? And I have given you 4. How will they be distributed?
For now, just train them to the utmost extent of their ability to be trained. And add in a month or so into just basic training for spatial combat
Okay. Alright, I like that.
for the entirety of our armed forces. If it slows down recruitment, that's a risk we have to take.
Alright. So then they understand. They go, Roger, we'll get to it immediately, and I'll start calling them and setting it up. So they both go out to start setting up that. Are you going to want to be like a personal instructor in this course, or are you going to be having those generals be like the instructors for that type of combat?
Can I use my combat role to train them?
Yes.
Then yeah, I'll be a personal instructor.
Okay. In a sec. Then we're gonna switch over to Halisac. Like, how many of these drones are you setting up to send out there?
The deal is, it's probably, yeah, I don't know, for some reason 24 seems like a good number to me.
24.
And each of them should be, when it comes, yeah.
Makes sense.
And like, theoretically they're all going to return, but in case they don't, that's a good number. And they should be like a few hundred miles apart by the time they get into scanning range.
Alright. So, and then, Horace, you found some dwarves in your repertoire who have, I'm just gonna like give an example of their stat if we were to compare it to his character spreadsheet. They'd have 3 in perception. They're like, that's like the most perceptive ones you could find. You found 2 like that in your repertoire, and you found 1 with like 2 in intelligence, or in perception.
And then if I found 2 with 3 perception and 1 with 2 perception,
Yeah, and the rest are like pretty much all just sit at a normal base of like 1 perception. And also as just normal dwarves and stuff, they only have like a 1 attribute point total.
they only have 1 attribute point.
Yeah,
So these are like some well-trained dwarves.
yeah.
Okay. So with these dwarves, should I roleplay it?
Yeah. So in this case, are you going to be calling the dwarves like individually, or are you going to be like calling
Right.
one of your administrators to go and contact them for you?
I guess I would call one of my administrators.
Okay. So you call your administrator and go.
Hello? Yes. This is what I want you to do with you found them?
Yeah. Yes, sir, Horace. I have found 3 exceptional dwarves, perfect for the task you have. Did you need any more?
I think it's 1 more. I should have had you split it to where it was 4 dwarves, 2 for each group. And I want you to make sure that they have a comm that has a direct communication to you. You will have a direct communication to me during this mission. To make sure that you communicate. Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I want you to report as much as you can. And be sure to make sure these dwarves pay attention to all the personnel around them.
Understood. I should tell them to be wary as well as do their job to make sure that they give the utmost detail from the drones.
Boris over here throwing shade.
And he says, and of course, I will find one more dwarf. I do not think we will find any more in our expert category for this, or skilled in this. But if you just want them to be perceptive, we do have a few that are very perceptive and just have not recently touched any sort of what the heck is the security or communication nets.
Give them the training that they can.
Of
I'm
course.
sure as long as one of them can pay attention to the drones, the other one should be fine. He can play it off as well as he can.
Of course, Sir Horus. I will get to it right away. And then, alright, so now we're gonna do, I guess I'm gonna do like a time jump.
Wait. One last thing.
Oh, yep.
Castleac would be like, oh, as a last thought, oh, if this is another civilization, might as well encrypt the data.
Okay, so can you do I guess I can just do another tech roll?
Well, encryption should be an old tech, but yeah, okay.
Well, I'm just doing. Well, all right. Like how? No. But I was gonna do it to see like how strong of an encryption you would do it.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'll do the roll. Another inventor roll, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is pretty much gonna become the
yeah.
challenge level for them, for other people if they do end up reaching it. Ooh.
Jesus.
Ew.
How many points of intelligence do you
Holy
have?
shit.
4. He put all of his points.
I
in
have
intelligence.
4.
You get
Yeah.
4 points?
And, yeah, 4 in intelligence and 4 in inventor.
Well, he has two. He automatically starts off with 2 points in intelligence.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of his race. So, alright, that's 3. I need to write this down so I can.
That was pretty bad.
It was.
Like, wait a minute. We might need to test this.
Well, even rudimentary encryption takes a while to solve.
Oof. Oh my god. The 11 rolls just getting 3s and 4s
This is what
for
I'm
days.
saying.
That's what I'm like,
The
okay,
cogent dice
a little
roller is
closer.
terrible.
I really haven't had issues at like this level. See?
What is going on here?
It's fine. Got 4, 3, 7, 8.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's not.
I think if anything, the dice recognizes when it's got too many of a certain set. Maybe like Ray does something.
That
like
also might be what's happening.
'Cause I'm still reeling off those 50s, man. We did 3 rolls of 50, and all of them were like in the middle.
And then alright, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna do a time jump. So Bruce, can you do your combat roll to see how well you trained these guys?
I can.
What are you training them in, weapon wise? Because I'll allow you to use your proficiency in that weapon, but obviously not the normal weapons.
I would
additional
do an
weapon.
emphasis on, I guess, close quarters, ranged combat, and unarmed combat. I want them to be ready for if they're disarmed, but I also want them to be ready for standard ops like infiltrating a ship and killing people inside.
Can you do 2 combat rolls, one with the proficiency of the rifle and one with the proficiency of the unarmed? So just one
Yes,
dice
I
will
can.
have one more than that, and I'm assuming that you're not. You yourself are not going to be the one teaching them with about infiltration.
I would not be teaching them like stealth, infiltration, and deception and stuff. No.
So, would you leave that to another Clover, someone in the army, or do you think you would have asked? That's like Horace or them for someone. Well, I guess not, because you want to keep it within your thing. So yeah, you probably would have just.
Yeah,
kept it.
I want it to be
kept it
completely
within
covert. Just like 3 people in
Alright.
the administration know about it.
So I guess I'm gonna do a dice roll for your general.
So that's my
It's gonna be
ranged roll.
your intelligence one.
And then here's my unarmed. Okay, so 7 wins for ranged roll and 5 wins for unarmed.
Oh man, you got low. All right, so that was their infiltration training. So they
So these guys are trained up then, right?
So these guys are pretty trained up. So like, pretty much all of them have gained an additional 2 proficiency in ranged. The one equivalent to like 1 additional proficiency in their unarmed and in their infiltration. Now, all of them had already pretty much had like at least one skill point in infiltration, as they were from either the intelligence or the special forces background.
So 2 infiltration total.
So yeah, so all of these guys are pretty much going to be chilling around 2 infiltration, 2 with or no, 3 proficiency is going to be 2 proficiency in 2 proficiency in ranged and 1 proficiency in unarmed.
And what are their attributes?
So all of these guys are going to be pretty much all, either there's 2 types. They're either going to be 1 in reflex, 1 in intelligence, and then they already originally have their 1 for strength because they're cloverts, or they're going to be 2 reflex and 1 in strength, depending on their type. Like the 4 guys from the intelligence groups are the ones that are like more split up,
Mm-hmm.
and they're probably going to be the ones mostly used for the infiltration side of this stuff, even though they're all pretty good at infiltrating anyway.
Is that the base stat for a soldier?
No. So this is coming from the base stat of his special forces soldiers.
Okay.
Okay, so either 1 reflex, 1 intelligence, 1 strength, or 2 reflex and 1 strength, plus 2 ranged, 1 unarmed, and 2 infiltration.
Yes.
Cool. So that's like a mini boss.
And then and technically 4 in acrobatics because they're cloverts.
Mm-hmm. And I've got 4 of these teams.
3 of these teams.
3 of these teams. Okay.
Yeah, a strikes team consists of 5 people, but in this case they're going to become 3 teams of 6 because you took those 3 teams of 5 plus you had the 4 other intelligence guys that you merged into this.
Okay.
Horace has his guys. We're going to jump up in time and to the act. So you guys have now successfully sent up the guys. I'm not going to have to do any rolls for this. You've sent out your drones to the location. It's about like a month later. There's been no change in this spatial warp. It's very confusing. But what happens is that right when your drones get there, they're reading an extremely excessive amount of gamma radiation coming out, like extremes. Not like physically harming anything. It is making the information that's coming back from the drones like staticky and like not all of it's coming through for that reason, because it is blocking the signal.
Well, good.
Slightly.
Good thing we have 24 of them.
Yeah, right. But having so
And good
many,
thing we didn't send people.
you are seeing pretty much a good layout, extreme amount of thing, and the gamma radiation is starting to like spike. Like the drones were seeing it, and it was a decently high gamma. And as they got around and started and you were getting more and more of them to like actually have direct eyes on it and scanners, it started spiking very drastically. But at the same time, this warp started to shrink and collapse on itself. And then it just disappears. And then as soon as it disappears, you guys hear over the comms from where your guys are, only a quarter of a light year out, of "Watch out! Quick, retreat!" And you guys have like visual connection with those guys. You only have like data connection with the droid, with the unmanned drones. And what you see is that the spatial warp has started to open up right there next to where the ships were. And pretty much it's you three and the minister of like the satellite control setup, and technically would be like the Secretary of Defense. Is there? There's like you are the four, pretty much mainly overseeing this entire operation, and that's where we're going to start. Is what exactly are you doing? Is you hear the retreat, you start seeing the spatial warp open up even closer to your planet.
How close?
So it's moved from the half a light year to the quarter of a light year from your planet.
I get nervous.
Like it just
I say we start
disappeared and
building
just
nukes.
reappeared. Wait,
Okay.
Yeah.
Castellak, can you explain?
Look like.
I don't know. Catholic would send the command for the drones to turn around while avoiding this thing, try to get as much data as they could return.
And with the way it opened up, what you realize is that the radiation has completely blocked the signal to the drones. Drones are now just pretty much floating in space with no control.
Well, I guess they'd probably be pre-programmed to come back.
I mean,
Hopefully.
you probably would have pre-programmed it to come back, but probably not this soon yet, right? Because your thought would have been we're gonna watch it for longer than just like four 2 hours. So currently they're just chilling there, observing nothing.
So, can we like
Great.
scrub backward in the feed and see what this thing looks like?
Yeah, you can do that for sure. You're trying to see like what the spatial warp is starting to look like specifically. Yeah. All right, so as you get to the very beginning of the feed where the thing just starts showing up, it first starts showing up as an excessive darkness, right? Like you look through space normally, and you'd be able to see some, like the stars way out there. But all of a sudden that star, like in the way distance, disappears because there's like something blocking the light there, right? And it's pure darkness. And then it starts to grow. And as it grows, this rainbow element starts coming around the outside. And it starts...
So an event horizon.
Yeah, kind of. And then as it opens, once it gets about the size of like a person's head, let's say, right? You're actually able to see in the pixels that it looks like there's a planet there. It literally looks like a wormhole that you could see a planet through. And then it just gets just barely bigger, and the ship has like turned too much that it's out of sight of the camera.
And you say that it was a half a light year away, and now it's a quarter of a light year. Is it on a direct course for us, or is it like
well,
going to
I
the
wouldn't
side?
say there's any course because it's not like it moved.
Well, I mean, it's
directly.
2 points. So did that line?
That line would
Does that line
directly
point towards
intersect with the planet. Well, actually,
Okay, I say
with the north pole of the planet.
Oh.
With the north pole of the planet.
Okay. So wait, I'm not sure if Bruce should hear this, but I want to do a thing.
Sure, we can pop into lounge real quick and then come right back
I can just
down.
mute my thing. Where's the?
All
There
the
we go.
faces?
There, that works.
Oh, he deafens. Bring him back. Bring him back.
Would Horace be Is it fine for
Yeah,
Horace to hear? Because he deafened,
for the
so he
thing.
can't hear.
Yeah, I was basically thinking maybe we should send something to the master Finks of the Academy suggesting we change the planet's course as fast as possible.
Yeah, I
suppose that would be a
would
conversation we
think
would
that'd
have
be.
to wait.
I would think that you guys would hold that conversation off until after Bruce leaves. So
Yeah, I just wanted to mention it as a thing.
yeah, definitely have it. I'll have it in the back of my head to remind you guys if you don't.
Totally agree.
Great. Okay, that's it.
The conversation's gonna be like an instant agreement between the two of us. Because I was just thinking that like when I saw when the wormhole moved from a light year to half a light year, I would have figured, of course, would have thought that this thing is getting closer to us.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So it's definitely getting closer, and the straight line is gonna like hit the north pole of the planet.
Well, hopefully our planet will be out of that area by the time it moves again.
Especially if we get this message through.
Roleplay that. Let's do.
So then, would you give any other commands to the ship, or are you guys just gonna let them retreat? And if so, like where would you tell them to retreat to?
Not in a straight line toward us.
Have them move towards me, like command them to head towards the south pole of the planet. Make sure they intercept for our orbital trajectory.
Kalisek, you gonna say anything, or you just gonna be leaving this up to the?
Wait. You said with its current trajectory. No, have them come back as normal in a direct path to the landing pads. I don't know, so we can retrieve the ships.
We want to try and bring them to the south pole. If we can assume that the wormhole is heading towards the north pole, don't want them to get blown up if anything catastrophic happens.
And then these.
Okay. The angle that they would be going at would make it so that until they're nearly at the planet, the distance they would have traveled would be not much at all. Let's have them move away from the trajectory for a bit before they return, and then it doesn't matter where they return to.
You know what? You said this is like a planet thing, right? Like it looks like a planet.
Yeah. It looked like you were able to see a planet through it. Like the spatial thing itself looks like a flat surface, but it looked like you guys were able to see through it for a little bit and see a planet.
Did I ever send out that that other secret ship that I was talking about?
It is not that close. It's in space, but yeah, it's not. It's not
Okay,
with
I wanna-
them. Yeah.
I want to communicate with it and tell whoever's piloting it to head into the thing, into the planet-looking thing, into the wormhole.
Can we assume that he does that after he separates from us, or if maybe he's got some kind of like pre-programmed?
My
message
thing would
like
be
that?
I'll be
he's
speaking
gonna
like
do
code
it-
or something.
He probably would have. Well, I'm just gonna say he sent it via a like you guys have holopads because you guys are like high up. You guys have it to communicate with people, and you also all of you guys have one to communicate with even the main ship in case audio comms break. You can just send data comms and it'll go through and send like a text. So he probably did that while you guys weren't.
Yeah, I want to tell my secret ship to not one of my elite special ops teams, but the thing I was already sending out there to sort of surveil the mission. I want to send that in. I want to tell them to go into the wormhole and then stay low and wait around for a little bit and then come back and report to me on what it's like in there.
All right. I'm just gonna do a destiny roll to see whether or not the gamma rays mess up or your thing at all. Like they're still gonna get the message through. I just want to see like if they get all of the message. Some of it's still gonna go through unless you get a 1. And you got a 5.
Fuck. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
So
Recoding got mad at us.
So the what happens is the message goes through. You don't know anything, but I'm just gonna like
Yeah.
The message goes through, and they get it, and they don't like see anything saying like not to do it right now. So they immediately like go and blast. It's just like full speed and speed in and like get into that wormhole, right?
Cool. That's what I wanted.
And when they enter that wormhole, right? As they go through and get towards it, on the video feed, you can see that ship fly into it.
Mm-hmm.
So now they obviously know that
What was that?
something happened. And as it flies through, one of the pilots on the ship switches the camera to the back to see if he can, or to the side, like to the camera facing that way of the ship to see if he can see like what went in. And when you look, the thing has gotten a lot bigger now. It's almost the size of the spaceships that you sent out, and they are big mining ships. So yeah, they're like huge. Like think it's probably the size of like a cruise ship now. It's already expanded to that size, and you can see the planet. You see an orbit of spaceships around this planet through it, and you see your ship. The ship that came in is just in pieces already.
Wait. Can I say though, like, since I specified it was going to be like a stealthy mission, like I didn't want to know that this was going to be surveilling our guys, wouldn't it have like cloaking technology of some kind?
Okay. Yes. All right. So I mean, I guess I'll change it slightly. I agree. I would say that would work. There's definitely
And since I
Cloaking
specifically told them to lay
check.
low.
Well,
Yeah, I mean it's not certain that they got through, but you know.
yeah, I was just gonna
They
say
were
that
the
part
covert
didn't.
op.
That part didn't
Yeah,
come through. But you mean in the pre-op? Yeah. So they hit the things. They go in immediately though, still, and there's still like a ripple that they were able to see of something, because like the cloaking technology is not like perfect, right? Like with movement there comes something you can tell that's just not right.
Yeah.
And as they look through, they see it's gotten bigger. They can see the planet. They see things, and then you just see a ship's wreckage floating there.
You know what? I wonder, are the other people on the other side not coming to destroy us, but they're also thinking that like we're, you know, they also see us as whatever we're seeing them as, and they think that we're coming to destroy them.
What people? No, wait.
Like maybe they have
I
a
know
fleet
we
there,
don't
not
know.
because they're trying to not because they're trying to attack us, but because they think that we're this thing. Like what they are to us, we are to them, and they're trying to defend against us.
Yeah, the ships aren't moving. They're literally just orbiting the planet that you can see through it. These ships, though, do seem to be all battle-style ships. Unlike you guys who have never made spaceships specialized for space battles of like big star cruisers for main big battles in space. Their fleet is definitely built to contend against other fleets in space. Though you don't seem to see any sort of fleets. You don't seem to see any sort of ships that are around that planet that could actually land on a planet when you see through. That's something that Kalasak and Bruce would be able to recognize, is that none of these ships have any sort of landing capabilities or anything that looks like it would help it land on them.
But maybe the way that the knowledge is distributed, Castellac and Bruce can see that the ship is made with weapons and it has no landing capability.
Yeah.
Like it's fleet.
I mean, you can see that there's weapons on it, but your knowledge itself would not tell you whether or not the things could land or not. You're not knowledgeable.
So it's not an
combative
invading force
stuff.
then.
No, it means their ships are big enough to have a smaller landing ships on them.
Those ships could destroy all of us. Could destroy our defenses.
You know, okay, wait. You said
From
that my-
orbits.
So the stealth ship that I sent in got destroyed, right?
Yeah.
Is the debris? Can we see the debris right now? Is it moving relative to the entrance that we're seeing, or is it staying relatively stationary? Like, is it
So-
you know?
So it's staying. So it's weird. So this is how it is. The stuff that's in the thing is staying stationary, but there's some of the pieces of the ship that's broken is still on this side of the wormhole and are floating around. You can see.
Okay, so their side of it is stationary. Their side of it isn't moving around.
Yeah. No.
So we could block it up. Potentially.
That's only if the time is synchronous between these two areas. We don't know what's going on with a anomaly this size. It very well could be that the time is not flowing the same on either side of it.
It's worth a try to put a
This-
minefield out there, though.
We don't even know if it moves. If this thing moves and gets closer to the planet, we send to it now. Like coordinates.
And we don't have the resources out there at the time, unless you propose sending those ships we have out there to relay in there.
Okay, basically what I'm proposing is that we get I guess a minefield set up ready, and if the thing moves again, we put those mines in their side of it, and since they don't move, they have to clear out the mines before they can get to us, so we have time to react to whatever they're doing. We have a video feed of them, essentially. Like, we can see into their world, and their world does not move relative to everything that we put in there. So if we put a blockage up in their side of it, they have to clear it, and we can see them clearing it, so we can react to what they're doing.
No. So like, it looks like nothing. Like when you're looking at the thing, like you see the spaceships and stuff, and you see it like, but the planet doesn't even seem to be spinning. Like it looks like you're looking at a picture.
Okay.
Like your video feed through it looks like it's a picture. Just making sure you understand that.
The point still stands, though, that if we put a blockage in there, we can see whatever they do to try and react to it, so we can react to that. Instead of just letting them have the initiative, we should take the initiative and block them.
If it's something time related is going on, when our time streams become parallel, it all happened too fast.
If that planet is looking like it's not moving, we don't exactly know when our minds would even get to them, or when we would be able to see their reaction to our minds. For all we know, the next time we look at this hole, it might still show that mysterious ship's battered half on their side.
Real quick, are you guys still telling this ship that was watching it to continue like coming back towards the planet, right? Or have you guys told it to like stop and try to watch it?
It seems like they're not in danger if they have a distance away from the hole.
I mean, but
So
I'm just saying, the thing is, remember the last time we saw it and it showed up on your scanners, it was the size of a red sun. Currently, in about 10 minutes, it went from the size of nothing to the size of a cruise ship.
yeah, we definitely want them to all tail away from that hole.
Well, move back at a consistent rate so that they don't get pulled in or anything of the sort. But as it gets larger, remember how right before it collapsed, the radiation spiked? That could be a serious threat to the people on the ships.
The other problem we would have is that if it works like if it has the gravity field is going to get stronger as it gets bigger.
I think
Yeah,
full
gravity-
retreat.
There was no gravity from the
Okay.
sensors originally when it saw the thing. It's literally
Okay,
a
you're
bend
right.
in time and space. It is just space. It has no mass to itself.
Okay, so the things we just have to worry about is the radiation and what could happen if it touches the ships.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you guys have realized.
Okay, so my people don't usually engage in trickery or mass destruction, but if these enemies are going to play rough, I think we should too.
I
Castellan,
think-
what would it take to develop a weapon of mass destruction capable of destroying many, many, many ships at once? Or perhaps even a planet? This is a
depends how.
confirmed threat at this point. So all resources we have need to go into stopping this.
Yes. First, we need to get our crews out of there one thing at a time. Resource-wise, it really depends on the method. I'll go. There's plenty of ways. Be assured.
How long did it take for our drones and the surveillance team to reach the hole the first time? 'Cause I'm assuming that we're gonna have.
So
that much
it's
time
so since
before
you
it
guys
right?
known about it, it's been about a month and a half. Since you guys knew about it, you sent your teams up there about half a month ago to get up there. It took them about 15 days to get in position.
this might happen.
Okay.
Also,
Yeah, I really think that because it was able to move that distance in an instant, we should really do the thing that I mentioned earlier.
it's happened when it's big enough, when it's a red star, just like before. You might have time to be able to observe when it's going to happen. Along
Am
with
I
that,
being
also,
excluded from something?
I was about to ask you, Bruce, what could you bring together in a month? Oh yeah, outside of character, it's wait, you know what? Game Master, that's your turn.
Oh, wait, Castellan, were you suggesting that in character? When I mentioned it, I was assuming I could do something like, I don't know, send a text message under the table or something of the sort. Oh, okay. Like I said, though, even aside from that,
No,
I've still been getting the sort of sense that you guys are hiding something. Like, my character would be getting the sense that you guys are hiding something from me. And like I said, Barusk has had suspicions about a shadow government for a while, so.
Yeah, no, you can definitely do a perception check. For sure.
Perception? Assist against, could I assist Castellan's deception?
Yes.
How much? Your deception is 4, right? Castellan? It's 11. Yeah. Actually, can I say, you better tell me, and use my intimidation to counter his deception?
No. Oh, I mean, you
Or
can
at least assist my current role?
you can do it to assist your role. Yeah.
He's going to assist
Uh.
his persuasion. He's going to assist his perception with his persuasion,
Yep.
while I assist Castellan's perception with my perception. Or, wait, first I got to do it first. Is that okay?
You want to assist his deception with what?
With my deception role. Since we between the two of us.
Can I also assist my own deception with my politician vocation?
So there can only be one assist. So is Horace going to assist Castellac's deception, or Castellac, do you want to assist your own?
Politician, I have 4 in that as well.
That.
You might best me because I only got.
Okay, this is working against my interests, but according to the rules, there can be more than 1 assist. But the second assist has to be done by another person, and it only gives +1 automatically instead of it having the rules behind it.
Okay, then yeah.
According to the dev diaries.
Okay.
Like that.
I thought I had.
Yeah, the Cogent, Tabletop Time has dev
Okay. I thought it said that that assist could only be
there
one.
can be a second assist as long as it's done by a second person, and it can't be a roll. It can just be +1 assist or +1 win total.
Okay. So then Horace is gonna assist with his deception, who gives +1 to Castellac's roll. Castellac, actually no. Bruce, you roll your two rolls first.
What?
No, I understand what's going on. Bruce, can you roll your intimidation first, and then
I did.
Oh.
I got 8 wins total.
all right, and then roll your other one. Horace, you don't want. Oh wait, never mind.
No, I'm saying between my intimidation and my assist, I got 8 wins total.
Oh,
My
okay.
perception and my
Shoot.
assist.
I don't know why I'm blind. Okay, you got 8, and then
Well, your perception was 3, and then your intimidation was 8.
Yes,
Right?
so 8 wins total.
yeah, that's still 8. Yeah, that's 8 wins total.
Okay, and then my initial deception, I got 6, and then on my aid, I got 5.
So you got 8 as well.
But that's not counting aid from.
And then
Horace.
plus the 1 from Horace, as long as he
So
gets.
I'm gonna spend as many
yeah.
destiny points as I have to succeed on this.
How old are you?
If I got destiny points, I'm about to throw them down.
Oh my goodness.
I just want to explain my character's motivation here because, like, Bruce's largest concern right now for his plan, he has a great amount of like planetary pride, and his greatest concern right now is that there's a shadow government that will run his planet into the ground. So this is like huge to him.
So.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's right. You are. All right. So Bruce, you would have 4 destiny points. I forgot to say that. Like you would have had 4 destiny points.
Again, I don't want to know exactly what they're saying. I mean, I imagine I wouldn't be able to intuit that from just a single perception check, but I want to, know the general notion of what they're talking about, like the topic.
Okay. So.
Okay, if you're going to spend 1 destiny point to tie our collective roll, then sure.
Yeah, I would say if you tie, I'll give you some information. You'll gain some information. Still, you don't have to win to get for this specific perception check.
Well, this is what would be considered.
This is active. If he ties, you guys would normally you'd have to re-roll because it's active conflict of deception versus
Well, I'm
perception.
pretty sure that deception versus perception always goes to deception, or no, it goes to the defender. Wait. Yeah, you're right. The defender is the one. But I'm actively trying to perceive, so I guess I would be the
Yeah.
defender in this
Yeah.
case.
Yeah. They would be the one defending.
Does that make that conflict? Does that make that a conflict?
No, but this isn't. Yeah, this is an active conflict. It should.
I do think that though, like, just narratively, I think that I should get some information even on a tie.
That's what I was. That's
to
what I
roll,
was
because
saying.
they're not trying to get like
is
the
if
full
you
picture.
tie.
I just want like
Well-
a hint of what's going on.
You lost by 1 if you don't spend any destiny points.
Yeah,
He also
currently
spent a
you're
destiny
still.
point.
All right. Okay.
Again, this is like his whole, persona. That like
Alright.
it revolves around protecting his planet from all threats, internal and external.
Right.
Yep.
So you spend a destiny point, and you tie. And what pretty much happens here is you notice that during this whole time, the two of them have been hitting stuff on their holopad like really rapidly.
Yeah.
There's definitely something extreme going on, like extreme enough that but at the same time, you can tell it has nothing to do with the people or the robots out there. Know what I mean? Like, like they obviously don't care directly what's happening to those people, other than viewing them as resources that we should probably somewhat keep them alive.
Well, that makes me even more concerned.
But at the same time, you can see that they are extremely, extremely worried, but about it coming into contact with the planet. And it definitely looks like what they were doing has something to do with that directly, with like helping the planet not get in contact with anything.
Okay. Oh shit.
Neat.
If I could give you destiny points, I would. That was such a well-informed, vague answer. Like, it is one of those ones where you can be satisfied with the tidbit. Like, it was the juiciest, most well-seasoned, well-cooked crumb I have ever
Oh,
had.
okay.
I would have been satisfied.
Honestly, this makes
don't-
Bruce like really, really concerned, and I'm gonna, use my holopad or whatever to make sure that at least one of my special forces strike teams is near my location right now.
Okay. They are actually not near you at all, but they can get to
Yeah,
you.
I want to like.
No.
And I also want to.
So they're not near you at all, and your call doesn't make them come near you. But they are set up they set themselves up and got like dressed and everything with your call, and they can physically be at your location in 5 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Neat. Anyways, all of those ships, we can leave them on Overwatch duty on that expanding anomaly. When it reaches within 10% of its previous maximum size, they should come back.
I can accept that. Castellac, what kind of technology can you develop at this moment? Because apparently we might have some visitors that have capabilities that we have not researched or even put into our forces.
Well, best bet, weapons to take out ships from orbit. Well, I have quite a few ideas. I can go to the lab as soon as convenient after this situation, he says as he waves to the monitors. Has been resolved to at least stasis for now.
And one of the ministers go, yes, I understand that you might have ideas and everything, but how much money is it going to cost us? How much are we going to actually have to pull and give you to make these things? I need to know from my report.
At the very most, I'll give you the most. It'll probably cost less than this. About, I would say, 4/10 of our economy for the year. It's extra spending money, of course, but this is a big threat.
I don't know if I'll be able to get you that full amount. I do agree that it is a very dangerous situation, but that is almost half of...
I don't need that much at first. Best case scenario, it takes half to a quarter of that. Very least half of that.
I do believe I can give you... Well, actually, roll persuasion real quick against this.
Okay. 1 second. Oh, persuasion. Ha, that's worse than my other thing.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Four successes. I mean, could I aid with politician again?
Yes.
Could I systems? Because I feel I would really want to develop something. From our history, we have not had ships that have had weapons on them capable of firing down on planets. And I would really like us to have something like that as a defense.
Of course, this would be a collaborative effort. That is what I was thinking along the lines of, though I was pondering whether we could hook it up to bigger power sources if we had it on planet side, ones that already exist.
So you end up with a total of 5 successes. And he has 6. So,
Neat.
but at the same time, like you weren't persuading him to like give you the money. Like he is scared out of his, not scared out of his mind, but he's definitely scared of this threat. And
I just need some preliminary funds before to start up the project.
So he agrees, and he says, but the maximum I can give you at the start right now is 10%. And if you can show things that if you can show improvement, and you can at least give one full prototype that is definite to destroy a ship, we will gladly put in more money to mass produce these to defend our nation.
In the meantime,
Good.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can we interrupt? Are we allowed to interrupt each other in the role playing, or do?
I mean, if your character would have interrupted the guy speaking, then yes, you definitely can. I'm not gonna be against that as long as it like makes sense.
All good.
Bruce, with your thing also, well, let's just say this session's gonna probably end semi soon, and I might, if you have some extra time, if I can pull you over at the end of it.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
That would just be my primary goal now. Like the planet thing is on the back burner for me right now.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Bruce, what kind of things, along with the mine idea, could we sum up right now to prepare ourselves just in case anything does try and come out of this hole? I understand the mine is a great idea, but with the struggle we have with understanding how time works on the other side, is there a way to at least make these mines deployable?
I assume so. I assume I have out of character. I assume I have like a fleet of like, I don't know, transport ships or something.
Yeah, so there's definitely transport ships. You would definitely say that you like, and supply ships. Like you have like carriers for like the thing mines, and then they put all the materials in the carriers. And you'd be like, well, we can modify the carriers to like actually drop the mines at an even rate or stuff like that. That would definitely be possible without expending extra money, just by reallocating the direction of resources.
Mm-hmm. Horace, in the likely event that this anomaly continues to approach our planet, I can have mine-carrying ships on standby very quickly. And as well, I have a rapid deployment team, several rapid deployment teams, in fact, standing by at all times.
Truthfully, as much as we said against that in the last month, I must agree that my opinion on the matter has changed more towards our favor of rapid deployment first.
Yes, so have I. Though, my current idea I have for weaponry is planet side.
It's my job to identify any potential threats to our planet, and I scowl at Castellac.
Planet 2 space, as I mean. The weapons, as I'm conceiving them at the moment, it's just an idea in my head. We'll be able to shoot anything out of space from quite far away.
That sounds like a good idea.
Okay. So pretty much, I don't think there's anything else you guys are planning. Or are you guys still gonna think you are? Or are you guys gonna start going?
I think we would split off and do our own things at this point.
Yeah. All right.
As long as we have this, I mean, there's the plan. The ships will observe the thing until it's within 10% of its previous max size, and then skedaddle.
All right, and then
If we're not a united front by the time the players show up, we're gonna get destroyed.
Bruce, can you deafen real quick, and so I can get this thing with them? All right. So your message has come. You guys have done it. You guys can't send a HoloLink message, but you have sent it. You've sent a HoloLink message to the person closest to the director, and it gets to him, like in a matter of like an hour or so, and then you guys get a reply back about 2 hours after you guys have split up to both of you, and he's told you guys have come up with a very big issue you guys have run out of power to redirect the ship. It is currently on a course to a sun that would be used to repower this, but it cannot
wait,
be
that
edited.
disrupts my weapon idea as well.
Maybe. What was your idea?
I was planning on using the ship's own power to power some railguns that remove the heat problem that railguns face.
Yeah, that's gonna be definitely gonna not be able to happen with this.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to come up with a
situation.
different idea.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a fun piece in the puzzle.
Yeah.
That
So
means we are stuck in a linear trajectory.
but again, you only have 2 points. Like, you don't even know if it's actually traveling linearly for certain or anything. It's just that's the only form of trajectory that they can attempt to give you is the linear one. So that your computers were able to. And yeah, so I think you guys go your separate ways. You guys are gonna start building your things. You can like come up with your idea of like what the weapons are by the time next session. This is session 0. Session 1 will still be, it's going to be only 1 week, and then from now on it'll be 2 weeks. Oh, I guess actually I should get Krasken here to explain that, even though he's going to be on here for a little bit longer.
Here, there, I guess.
It's like he's still deaf. There he is.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna pretty much wrap this session up here. All of you guys go on your separate ways. Castlelock's going to go and see what's gonna happen with, and if he can make a good technology to stop a bunch of ships coming. And Horace, what exactly actually were you going to do in this?
I actually want to pull Horace aside when we're out of the meeting.
Okay, then
That's fine.
okay, that might real quick. But so I guess I'll just get to another thing. So it's normally it'll be every 2 weeks, but this is session 0. They're gonna play, and then you guys are gonna be. Next week we will have a session, and then it will actually be every 2 weeks. If that's okay with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So the 9th, and then from then on, like the 23rd, and so on.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So then, so Castlelag, you should be fine. There's nothing else really gonna go on that you're gonna see or know of.
I'm gonna think of sci-fi ideas for
Yep.
sci-fi explosions.
Yep. And hopefully by the time you guys come back, you'll have something. Though, yeah, that's gonna be a fun thing.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I think then I'm off if there's nothing else.
Yeah. There shouldn't be anything else for you. And then.
Great. Good session.
Yep. Thank you.
See you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See y'all.
And then Bruce and Horace, you guys have left. He's gone to do his stuff completely, ignoring everything else 100%. And then, so Bruce, you said you pulled over Horace?
Yes. When we're out of earshot of everyone else, I would say, Horace, there's clearly something going on. There's a threat brewing outside of this room, and there's a threat brewing within it. Now, up till now, I've known you to be a good, honorable man. But I should warn you, if there's something going on beneath my nose, I will find out what it is, and I will put an end to any threat to this planet.
What you must be concerned with is that whatever suspicion you have against me, put it aside, because there is no one more dedicated to this planet, in this nation, than I.
Which is why I pulled you aside. I know you to be an honorable man, as I said, and I hope you can see the light in this situation. As I said, there is an external threat, but there is also an internal one. We need to be vigilant against both if we are to succeed in this war.
What internal threat do you suspect? I know you've mentioned
There
it a
are
couple of times, but I must know what exactly. Sir.
there are moving parts beneath the clock face of our government. I have yet to uncover all of them, but I have enough evidence to suspect a large conspiracy. And if you're implicated in it, I will not hesitate to put that conspiracy down. I hope, for your sake and for mine, that you see the light.
Who have you? Who have you got?
That's not information for you until you prove yourself to be on the side of good, on the side of our planet, our nation.
Brusque, if you're holding information back from the one who is focused on this, you might hinder our goals. I know you do not. I know you are suspicious of me, but remember, I am the advisor, the one who, or I am the assistant to the advisor. Intelligence is part of my focus to make sure we can make the best choices.
And the advisor will know what he must know.
Then whatever the advisor knows, I should know as well.
Well, I can't guarantee that.
All right.
You're bringing me concern, Brusque. You are the general of our nation. For you to have a secret like this that I do not know of, it's a great rift to us.
Understand that I trusted you implicitly before all this happened, but now I have my doubts. And if you're part of this conspiracy, I can't stoop to offer you any information on it. I only hope that you forego any bonds with conspirators.
Is it at all possible for me to do a perception roll to see if I could maybe read his expressions or anything? I would even be willing to throw out any world playing, like any world building names to see if he reacts to any of them. Does that make sense? It's kind of like me. I'm like I will say a couple of names and see if either his eye twitches or maybe you can see a shift in his demeanor to let me know that there is at least something with a particular person.
Can you deafen real quick, Horse?
Yes. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to say that the reason you suspect a shadow government, right, is because you have, for certain, caught someone in your military sending messages of what you guys are doing in code somewhere.
Somewhere. I don't know where.
Yeah, it was unable to be tracked.
Okay.
And you were, even your intelligence department with its best work has been unable to decode anything.
I mean, I strongly suspect the advisor. I don't think Horus is implicated in anything too serious, but, on the off chance that he is.
Yeah.
Again, like, I as a player don't want to screw things up, but, like, Brusque as a character is suspicious of everyone and everything. And that's his only goal is to protect the planet's interests. He's 100% dedicated to that.
Yeah. So the only person you've caught is, oh god, I guess I didn't actually make a name for it, but I can in a second. I guess the stupid stuff.
I hope I'm not coming off as too, like, standoffish or, as, like, a dick to the other players. I'm just, trying to roleplay my character.
No, you're doing exactly as your character is. So the only person you've caught is a clover, because the entire army is clovered of the of the name of Enog. Yeah, we'll use that one.
Enon, like ENON or
no,
what?
ANOG, Enog.
Oh, Enog. Okay.
Yeah, and then if you deafen, let's talk to Horse or Sec as well.
All right.
So the guy who sent you the message about the extra encryptions in the military was named Drax, and your other guy that you had in the military is named Anog. So those are your two guys that you had in the most high spots, at least in the military. Otherwise, yeah, you could start throwing out names if you want and stuff. But and then you also know that Salon has a guy named Utha that's in the army as well. Yes, that will be pretty much.
Salon, Drax, and Uther.
Huh?
Says Salon, Drax, and Uther. I feel like Salon is the wrong name.
No. Salon is, remember, that's the advisor. I said his guy, is Utha, and you have two guys, which is Drax and Anog, like A-N-O-G. Okay?
Three of them are high.
If you just go to the evil resources, the very first document with all the stuff, it's the first and last name examples for Cloverts.
Okay.
All right.
So so are you going to be throwing out any names or at all, Horse? Is that what you want to do? And then Bruce, are you going to say anything else?
Do I roll a perception check before or after I throw out the names?
I'd have you role play telling me what names you might throw out, and what characters, for example, and then and like you could even say titles if that's what you want for people. And then from there, then you'll roll your perception because it's all going to happen based on what you say, because he's obviously going to react differently to what you say anyway, depending on.
I must apologize in advance because unless I take the time to pull up the Word document, I do not know the.
It's fine. You could just say random names and make up characters into the world, and I'll just add them that I haven't like fully built in. It's fine. Like there's a bunch of, this whole world is filled with too many people for a single GM to like write out the entire your everyone.
Tuye, the finance minister, or Enoch, the satellite minister, or is it Lagumba, the lord of the southern continent, of the city in the southern continent? Have you acquired any of your generals? Enoch, Drax, Utha.
Brother, until the time comes as I prove you innocent, I will not reveal any information about this.
So roll deception versus perception.
All right.
Now, as an advisor, would I be able to use my?
You're not going to need anything, trust me.
All right. Let me make sure my perception versus.
Oh, you did the best you could, man. The best you could. All right. You
Yeah.
put up the best act you know how to put up. Okay.
Yeah.
Watch him
Oh,
get one
man.
success.
That's what I'm saying. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
So there's a reaction to Anog and to Tutha. There's a definite like surprise in his eyes. It's not like he raises his eyebrows or anything, but just like you can see his eyes actually slightly widen, like to the very little. Like he did do a amazing job hiding his feelings and emotions in his direct body language and the way he spoke. But you could see those two names definitely hit a chord somewhere. Somewhere they have some meaning to him, even if they might not have anything to do with this exactly, but it definitely has something to do with him and with some type of secret he has.
So I would suppose that in the moment where he says he won't say anything to me, I would say I have a moment of silence watching him. Then I just say, very well, Bruce, but be sure that your attention is on that hole.
My attention is everywhere it requires itself to be.
I hope that ensures our safety against what's at the hole. As long as the attention that needs to be elsewhere does not take you away from it.
I'm focused on everything and everything I am required to be.
At that moment, Horace is silent.
Yeah.
And for your sake, I pray that you are not wrapped up in this.
And I'm gonna say, since Horace was being, is Horace gonna respond?
No. Actually, no. I said he would be quiet.
Since he was being quiet before and afterwards, he's kind of getting sick of this conversation. Like this is going nowhere anymore. It's the same thing, just starting to go in circles.
Yeah, just basically out of character. I wanted to give you a heads up, because I assumed that we would have been pretty close before my suspicions set in.
I could think that.
You both
I already didn't trust your boss, so.
Do you know Horace's character sheet? Like, sorry, is that something that Bruce knows? Does he know about?
I have not looked over your character sheet, but
I mean, like the characters. You guys do know each other. You guys have been working together for a while. Like you guys are relatively old. Well, I mean, Horace, you're old as crazy, but Rusk is still like he's decently old for his race. He's still like he's getting there near the end of his life.
Yeah, like I said, Horace would probably have been like one of the few people I trusted in the government before today.
So yeah, it definitely be as close. I suppose it would be as close as Horace would be with someone who wasn't the Finks or the advisor. I guess you being so old, you probably would have noticed his prejudice against other races. His focus on ensuring that the order is sustained through the advisors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to. I think that's Is it? All right. So then you guys separate ways. Horace, is there any specific task that you think you would have gone out to do? I just want to know where to wrap up and say that what you were doing.
I believe I would have gone back to my study. I could really suspect a lot of the times where I'm focusing on gathering information and stuff. I'm in my study, and I'm communicating with people. So I could see myself having a setup inside the study to try and keep the people monitoring.
Okay, so pretty much you would have gone back to your study and you would have pretty much just trying to get back to the normal intelligence gathering system that you can and see if your intelligence has anything to do with this this new situation. That's pretty much what I'm getting. All right.
We've still got to go over that thing that I was planning to do.
Oh, yeah. So then at that moment, this was great. I enjoyed the role play. Thank you, Zar, for letting me be in on this. I'll see you next session.
Yep, see you next session for sure. All right. Let's
All right. So honestly, as a player, I do not know what's going on. I assume it's not as nefarious as my character would assume it to be, but still.
Yeah, it's So your character is. I'm gonna just tell you as a player, your character is right that there's a shadow government. It's like 100% controls every little thing,
Yeah.
But your character is wrong in thinking that it's a bad thing that there's a shadow government.
Well, that depends on your definition of bad. I mean, he's not out for the king or the people or any of that. He's simply out, to protect his planet. It is actually just the land and the national pride and the tradition that comes out of it that he's out to protect.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, like, to what he defines as bad, he's 100% wrong.
Okay.
And, like, he doesn't know it, because, like, that is the same goal of the Shadow Organization. They're not actually trying to, like, rule the government.
Well, until he finds that out, he's going to pursue this relentlessly.
Oh, for sure. And
he's also, like, I give him a negative in deception partly for the skill points and also partly because I view him as, like, a seeker of truth. Like,
yeah.
He would value truth above pretty much all else.
Yeah. And, how should I say this? And at the same time, like, I don't think he's not going to act like all go happy if he finds out, like, what's going on, right? Like, I don't think it's going to be anything he'll like. I don't think it's anything he'll like, but at the same time, I think it is something that he'll understand is not bad by his definition.
He may have to reluctantly accept it, but that's, for another time until he figures it out.
Exactly. You might have to. So, you go send... you said a full unit. Okay.
6 people seems like enough.
Yeah. Let's send a full unit. I guess they'll do 3 destiny rolls. Yeah, there's a few things I have to check.
All right, I'm like, oh no.
And, okay.
Oh no! Whoa! Shit.
All right. So there were. So his pretty much closest confidant is there in the research facility. It's at other things. So your guys definitely go in there, and there's no guards there at all, and they do pick them up pretty easy, right? Issue is that they did not realize until after they brought him back in for questioning that he has a
chipped.
He has a tracker on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a 7, and then the 5 is even worse. When they went, they successfully took it out, and they were about to start transporting him again. He exploded.
Did he kill any of my guys?
He did not, but he did succeed in doing a severe injury on the captain's left leg of that unit. We're going to call this unit Bravo. This is like your medium skilled unit.
Is there any scavengeable body parts that I could send as a threat to what's his name?
No, this guy's a puddle. This guy turned into a puddle.
Okay, yeah.
It's...
Well, I want to get rid of all the evidence. That's the first and foremost thing I want to do.
Yeah, and that's easily done with all of your resources, no problems.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hide the fact that the guy went missing, but...
Yeah.
But you were able to gather one thing of intelligence, right? And that is, the guy replied, he said, when he was captured, he said, right before he died, he said, you Cloverts are only in charge because we Finks allow it.
Okay. This clearly goes back to the main advisor guy. I mean, okay, so Brusque, I imagine, is not mechanically he's not intelligent. He does not have points of intelligence, but
yeah.
I imagine he's a fairly reasonable and logical guy. He's a general for a reason, and not just because of his strength.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not unreasonable to think that he would assume that this highly intelligent advisor guy is puppeting the arrogant and easily controlled king. I don't know what I would do.
I mean, you can
I would have investigators checking out Horus and basically monitoring all his communications.
Well, I can just do. Well, I guess I can. I can do I can do a destiny roll to see if check something. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. You're literally unable to access any of his communication network whatsoever. Like even your smartest guys. You're able to access his normal communications and stuff. You're unable to access anything that has to do with his research. His most recent call does match the same time as the meeting, and it was sent from his pad to an instructor in the Royal Advisor Academy. And it just says planet in danger. Well, it doesn't actually. It's actually a really long message, but they just did a very simple code that was just like the first letter, first letter code. And
outside of what I've already done, I would like to have whatever separate, like aside from Castleac, I assume I have some other R&D guys under me, right?
Kind of. Yeah.
I would like to get whoever I can working on just like a Moab, just like a massive, massive bomb.
A massive kinetic energy bomb, for sure.
Yeah, not radioactive. If this thing's putting out a lot of radiation, I assume that, you know, their side of it can withstand that, so.
Yeah, I got you. Just like a normal hydrogen bomb. It doesn't have
I also want something that's really uncomplicated, because if any, you know, part in it fails because of the gamma radiation coming off the anomaly, you know, it's useless. So I want it as simple as possible, but also as devastating as possible.
Yeah, it's gonna. You guys could put them to work. They're saying that it should take about another like 2-3 months though to successfully do this. Is pretty much what they tell you.
And outside of that, over the course of the next few months or whatever, I'm gonna just have some spec ops teams occasionally, very occasionally, picking off unhealthy or psychologically unwell people that are working under Castleac and Horus and the main advisor. Just people who would seem like they'd have reasonable, or like, you know, natural reasons for not being around. I'm gonna have them like pick them off and take into black sites and stuff, and check for scanners or like check for chips this time.
Yeah, for sure. You learned you learned a lesson pretty fast. Yeah, I think I guess I'll put that in my notes, and we'll start off the next time with a destiny roll of how much intelligence you gathered there. Or actually, I might do that after their session tomorrow, how much they learned, and then go from there.
Cool. All right, thanks for DMing, and thanks for, you know, inviting the BBEGs.
For sure, I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun. Anyway, see ya.
See ya. Thank you. All right, thanks everyone and anyone who came by and viewed the stream and everything. I hope this is gonna work out well. I really do. We'll find out whether or not it works in the end, or if it's gonna like act up or whatnot. But it is what it is. And otherwise, I hope you all have a great day. I will be back tomorrow with another group doing a technically different campaign in the same setting. and in the same exact timeline. So we'll see how that goes. So thank you all for coming here, and I hope to see you guys later, tomorrow.